Rain fell like tears from a grieving sky on the day they buried Richard Beaumont. Beneath a canopy of black umbrellas, the elite of society gathered to mourn the golden son of the Beaumont dynasty. His mother, Margaret, stood rigid as marble, her face a mask of dignified sorrow. His brothers whispered condolences to one another. Business partners bowed their heads in respect. But there, at the edge of the gathering, stood a woman whose expression did not quite match the solemnity of the occasion. Elizabeth Beaumont, the widow, dressed in elegant black, her veil obscuring most of her face. And yet, if one looked closely enough, they might have noticed something peculiar. The slightest curve at the corner of her lips. A smile, barely there, like a secret kept close to the heart. The other mourners might have dismissed it as a trick of the light, or perhaps the grief-stricken expression of a woman in shock. But Elizabeth knew the truth. This was no accident. This was no tragic twist of fate. Her husband had been murdered, and she knew exactly who was responsible. As the priest spoke words of comfort and eternal rest, Elizabeth's mind wandered elsewhere. To the late nights when Richard would return home, exhausted and troubled. To the heated arguments she had overheard behind closed doors. To the cold, calculating looks Margaret would give her son when she thought no one was watching. The rain intensified, drumming against umbrellas like an accusation. Thunder rumbled in the distance. It seemed even the heavens knew something was wrong. When the ceremony ended and the family dispersed to their waiting cars, Margaret approached Elizabeth. The older woman's eyes were dry, her composure perfect. "You may have been his wife," Margaret said softly, ensuring no one else could hear, "but you were never truly part of this family." Elizabeth met her gaze steadily. "No," she replied, her voice calm and measured. "I suppose I wasn't." Margaret seemed satisfied with this admission of defeat. She turned away, her duty done. But as Elizabeth watched her mother-in-law walk toward the limousine, that small smile returned to her lips. Because Margaret Beaumont had made a critical mistake. She had assumed Elizabeth was weak, that she would crumble under pressure, take what little she was given, and disappear into obscurity. But Richard's widow was not the naive young woman who had married into this family 5 years ago. Grief had not broken her. It had forged her into something far more dangerous. Revenge, Elizabeth had learned, was best served cold. And as she stood alone in that rain-soaked cemetery, watching the Beaumont family depart, she made herself a promise. This house they had built on lies and blood money would crumble. And she would be the one to tear it down, brick by brick. The smile widened just slightly, before she turned and walked away from her husband's grave.
What happens next? Don't miss the full story, available now on our channel.